Good morning. So I am up on the aquarium roof today, so there's a little bit of variety in my work. So I noticed that this slate had broken and had slid down, and the owner said to just slide it back up, put a bit of silicone in, but that really isn't the right thing to do. So fortunately I have the correct tool here for removing slates. I happen to dig that up in the garden, so very handy it is. So I've gone and brought two new slates, because not only was this one broken, I noticed this one was also broken because I could see the crack. I think this might have happened previously because there is silicone here. Somebody has siliconed it back in place, but I've managed to get this one free as well. Now, the reason you want to replace them rather than silicone them back, because yeah, it looks fine here, but that water that runs down there goes down that little crack there, and then it can get in there and rot your battens on your roof. So you need that to be a full slate there. So I'm going to lift this one out, because that should be relatively easy. There we go. And that's the other reason you don't want to use silicone, because it doesn't last. Right, and I'll just quickly run through how you use this tool, because I can't, it needs two hands really. So I can't hold the camera and use this tool. But basically what you're going to do is slide it up underneath the slate there. So it goes up underneath the slate there, and you basically wiggle it along and you hook it onto the nail like that. And then you use a hammer to hit on the handle there. And as you hit down, hopefully that basically starts to pull on that nail and pulls the nail out. So there's a nail there and there's a nail under there. Then there's another nail there and another nail there that I need to remove. So I'm going to put you down for a minute, get those out, and then carry on. Okay, so that's the two slates out. Now that was easier said than done. Normally, when I've done this in the past, you hook the tool onto the back of the nail, and as you hammer down, it pulls the nail out. But as you can see, it snapped these nails off. So this one here was easy enough because I could get a pair of grips on there and just pull that out. But you then had a little spiking down like that behind here, and of course you can't get in here. So this one here was I managed to get off. I actually used a hacksaw blade like that and just manually cut that one off. These two up here were a little bit more difficult. So what I ended up doing was actually using the tool like that, going up underneath the nail and hammering it up until it went over the top, and then hooking it back on, and then going back down again and pulling it back again until I actually snapped the nails off flush with the wood. So now I should be able to just slide the slates up into there without too much of an issue. So right, let's get the new slate. Okay, so here are the new slates. So as you can see, these have already got holes in them ready for the nails. So obviously the holes are offset. That's about the centre of the slate there, so that's the top half of the slate. And you can also tell by the edge there, it's a square edge on the back there, and it's more of a rounded edge on the top surface, so you know which way up they go as well. So yeah, let's try and slide this one in. Yeah, I'm going to need both hands on this, and yeah, I don't know what they were doing when they put this gutter up, because that gutter is higher than that edge, which is a right pain. Right, let me try and slide this in. Okay, so I've managed to slide that in. I think it's sitting properly. It's hard to tell. That hole's slightly lower than that hole, but that isn't an issue. That's actually a good thing, because that means that the hole doesn't line up with the previous hole, so when I put the nail in there, it's actually going to go into something solid. I've lined it up nicely at the bottom there. Now I was actually surprised, because there's all sorts of different thicknesses of slate. I knew there was different sizes, as in width and length, but there's also different thicknesses. So you can get 6mm ones, which are quite thin, and these are 7 to 8mm ones. So yeah, now I've got the terrifying part, putting a nail in there. So yeah, now slate is actually quite a robust material. So that is literally down just enough to hold it. So because of that slight recess, that's flush with the surface there, so the next slate should slide over the top of it. Now obviously I can't put a nail in there, but that's not an issue, because this lines up next to this slate here, so that'll stop it from sliding. Now obviously you can only do this so many times, but this will be fine. Now for the next slate, obviously I can't put any nails in there whatsoever, so you've got two options. One option is to put silicone on here and stick it in place. Now a lot of people prefer that method because then you can't see that the repair's been done. I personally don't like that method because of the fact you can't see that the repair's been done. I prefer this method. This is a copper strap, and what you do is you nail that in place there, and that goes just between the two slates here, the nail, and into the batten there. And then you slide your slate into place, and then you just fold the end up to hold it in place. So yeah, let's get this in place. Right, so there we go. That's the copper strapping. There we go. So I don't want to hit anything too hard, but yep, that should hold that nicely. So now we've just got to slide the next slate in. Again, working around the guttering again. Let me just put you down a second. There we go, and that copper strap just stops that from sliding back out. It won't slide either way because it's held in place by the slate on either side, and it's held down by the slates above. And because of this tab, you can see that that is a repair now. So with older roofs, this will tend to turn green, but you'll see a number of them dotted over. So that's a good way for a roofer to come along, and they can then tell how well the roof's doing. If there's a lot of these tabs sticking out, then obviously your roof's deteriorating quite badly. For one slate to go, that could have just been some slight damage, tree branch or something hit it. If a lot of them are being held in place with little tabs like this, then you know the slates are getting old and you're going to need a new roof. So yeah, I hope this was interesting for you, and I shall end this video here, and I shall see you later. So I just got back up here with a pair of long nose pliers. I just bent that so that was flat, because I knew that that was going to catch leaves and things otherwise. There we go, you can see where I was working. Repair doesn't even notice. Not bad for just £10 worth of materials.